the Planning Board meeting of May 14th, 2019. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And this meeting is being broadcast by Area 58 Community TV.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Shall I make a suggestion that we take the public hearing for McDonald's in front of continue public hearing for David Mulcahy while we wait and see if Kevin might be running a little late?
Sure. Okay, that's what we'll do then.
Okay.
So the first hearing, we have two tonight. The first one we'll hear tonight would be the application of James Cranston, Bowler Engineering, agent for McDonald's. So let me read the public hearing notice. Okay, I have a public hearing notice for that. In accordance with the provisions of the Town of Carver zoning bylaw, the Carver Planning Board will hold a public hearing on May 28, 2019 at 7 p.m. in the Carver Town Hall, Meeting Room 1, on the application of James Cranston, Bowler Engineering, agent for McDonald's, requesting a minor modification to site plan and special permit pursuant to sections 3561A, 3531, and 3570 of the Carver zoning bylaw, located at 96 North Main Street in Carver, Mass. This assesses map 18 3-A to allow renovations to the existing building and site improvements in the Village Business District. Any persons interested in wishing to be heard should appear at the time and place designated. A copy of the plan is on file at the Planning Department and may be reviewed during normal business hours. Carver Planning Board, Bruce Mackey, Chair, and it was published in the Carver Reporter, published dates May 10th and May 17th of 2019. All right, good evening.
Good evening, James Cranston with Bowler Engineering. This is the existing McDonald's. They're proposing a remodel to their facility outside on the site, as well as some architectural upgrades. The existing site has 52 parking spaces, a single non-digital menu board, which is highlighted in pink on the side of the building, and then a single non-digital, like a pre-browse menu board, as well on that same side of the building. And the existing site has 2 handicapped parking spaces. The reason I bring that up, part of this remodel, they look at the site for compliance with ADA, architectural accessibility for people that are disabled, and parking spaces and sidewalks, things like that. So the number of spaces that are out there today is deficient. Based on the number of spaces on the site, they would need 3 handicap spaces. So we're going to be improving that. I have a color rendering of the site plan. It's basically a colored up version of the plan overlaid with an aerial. And there's really not a lot of physical changes to the site itself. It's probably hard to see from there, but the existing features that are changing are in red, which really are those handicap spaces over here. We're putting in 3 new spaces. Those areas would be regraded so that the slopes will comply, 2% max slope. And then this sidewalk over here would be new with a ramp system to get into the building. We're also proposing a digital menu board. It's half the size of what's out there now. Lets them change the menu from a computer instead of going out there physically. And then that pre-browse board, which is out there now, there would be a digital version of that. That's also much smaller than what's out there now. There'd also be some new drive-through features. There were cut sheets of what those would look like. There's now going to be a canopy. This way, when they're ordering, they're sheltered from the elements. If it's raining out, they can open the window. So those are really the major site changes. It's really an improvement, refreshing the site, fixing some non-compliance matters. The end of last week, the client wanted to make a change to that and wanted to see if this is feasible, if we can show you what else we would like to do to the site, and see how you want to work with that. It doesn't change how the project was advertised. if I can go over what that change would be. We tried reaching out to town staff on Friday and today to see if it would be feasible, but we weren't able to discuss that. There would be two changes. The first one is very easy. There's a patio out front. They would remove that patio and replace the entire patio with new concrete. There were some areas where the surfaces were uneven. They just wanted to be a nice new finished surface. The second would be to add a second menu board. They call that tandem. That would be a little bit closer to the back of the facility, and what that would allow is for 2 orders to be taken, and it would help speed up the drive-through operations. So that's really the only 2 changes. I don't know if that's a significant concern. But looking at how it was advertised, it didn't talk about how many menu boards were proposed. So I feel like it's a minimal change. If you'd be willing to accept that modification to the site.
I think so, yeah, okay, we'll talk about that. So what do you have out in the patio now? Is just some sort of...
It's stamped concrete.
Oh, okay, so you're just going to fix that?
Just fix it, make it all uniform.
And the size is still going to be the same?
Same exact size.
Okay.
Yep. If you'd like, I can go over the building facade changes as well.
Sure.
There were elevations included. This is the other feature of the remodel, is to refresh the building, the architecture. The prototype has changed, back in the 60s. The older building, they just want to refresh the look. So these are some elevations showing a new storefront. They would extend parapet walls up, give it clean lines. Continue with the clapboard finishes. There would be some EFIS finishes. This is called a brand wall. This would be EFIS. And this would be EFIS. Clapboard would then continue just to kind of break up the elements. And all of the windows really are going to stay. They're going to keep the mullions, replace the windows in any fashion. And then these are just the side views of the building. Same theme. There would be additional signage, and if you want, we can either go over those in detail or I can briefly touch upon it, but there would be some additional signage on the building versus what's out there now. Today there's a single McDonald's sign on the front wall. They would continue with a McDonald's sign that's internally illuminated, an LED sign. And then there's this M logo, they call it an arch logo, 14 square feet. There's one on each side and then one on the front, so there would be 3 of those, all internally illuminated. And there was a very detailed summary of the signage. I'm not sure if you want me to go through it, but it basically identifies where the signs are on the site and gives you a number code to coincide, just to point out where each of the features are.
So basically there's existing signs there now, when you're just going to remove the old signs and just replace them with new signs. Is there anyone here interested in hearing about anything more about the placement of the signs?
No, their detail in this was pretty good. I looked at it prior to. The only question that I had was you add in that other kiosk in the drive-through. How does that affect your stacking lanes?
The second menu board?
Yep.
So if someone pulls up to the first one closest to the rear, they'd be placing their order. If someone comes behind them, they could place an order kind of at the same time.
Yep.
If it frees up in front, they really can't advance. So it would kind of operate how it is now. There'd be no advantage if the first one cleared up and the second one was taken.
Mm-hmm.
There would be the advantage if someone pulls up to the furthest one to the rear and then someone was right behind. If the conditions allowed, if someone noticed them leaving, they could go around and get in front, but probably not the case.
So there's still just one drive-through lane, not
Just one lane, just same windows. The windows are not changing. They have tandems in some of the locations. What they prefer is a side-by-side where there's 2 next to each other, but it eats up a lot of room and it just doesn't really fit on this site. And you'd eat up a lot of parking.
I've seen those before with 2 side-by-side. That's why I didn't know if that was the plan.
That's what's preferred, but unfortunately here it doesn't fit.
So on the plan, can you point out exactly where they are in conjunction with the proposed handicap spaces?
The menu boards themselves?
Yes, please.
Sure. So this is the main one that we were proposing on what was submitted. It's
Yep.
where the existing one is now. The additional one is right here
Okay.
at the back. And then the handicap spaces are here, and this is where they would walk to the building.
Right. Okay. I don't have a problem with that.
So the lights that are going on the building, the arches, signs, they're going to be internally lit. Is there anything presently on the building that's internally lit, or?
I think the front wall sign is lit. That is that type of sign that it would be lit from inside, so yes. I know that the way it works, it's a yellow acrylic, that M logo, it's yellow, and it's lit from behind with just LEDs, so it's not bright. It certainly doesn't illuminate the side of the building. It just kind of gives a little bit of contrast at night.
Okay.
It's certainly not overpowering, though.
Did you talk, planner, his last day was today. Did you talk to Stephen about this, review this project with him?
That's who I think we were coordinating with up until the filing itself.
Yeah,
just to
okay.
understand the process.
And he thought that the lighting was okay on the front of the building?
He just said to state what we were proposing,
Okay.
mention that they were illuminated, and
Okay.
requested.
Good. Any other questions from the board members?
So, Mr. Chair, they're asking for a minor modification to site plan review and also the special permit, which is in the original, all that lighting and all the signage was there. So with the modification, that would cover the 2 additional M signs. If this board decided to approve it, it would just go into the modification of that site plan review. I'm pretty good with the layout.
Do you have anything, any comments or anything? Yeah, Jim said he's okay. It is a public hearing. Is there anybody out in the audience that would have any questions or comments? Seeing none, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
So motion and second, further discussion. Seeing none, those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. All right, so everything looks good to us. We've closed the public hearing. We won't have a decision. Well, what we need though is there's something on record for the decisions that you had discussed with the planner, but the additional items that you brought to us tonight, if you could send a letter or email to the planning department,
Okay.
and so that we can write those into the decision.
Okay.
And we won't approve the decision till our next meeting. And that meeting won't be until maybe, let's see, this is probably, our next scheduled meeting was the 11th, June 11th, but we won't, we probably won't have that meeting, so it won't be until the 25th, until that decision is
June 20th.
drafted up, and so then we can approve the decision. You know, it's just you know, everything seems fine, so it'll just have everything written down, and then the board can sign it.
Okay.
If that's all right with you.
Sure. Should I plan to attend on that night, or is there no discussion?
It would really just be for going over the conditions of the document for the special permit and the modification. If you wanted to come and just to make sure it's exactly what you're looking for as well as what we're looking for, it would be helpful. That way we can nail it out on that day.
Yeah, that'd probably be the best thing.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Have a good night.
It doesn't seem like,
I'm waiting for a response. I got some. Can we go on to the other stuff and let me just walk out for a second, make a phone call?
all right, well, we're just going to continue to wait for a few minutes and see if Kevin is going to be with us tonight. So what we'll do is we'll go on to planning board member notes, and I don't know, all what I could say about that is, you know, Stephen Cole, our planner, his last day was today. He's not with us tonight, so we are searching for a new planner, and we have resumes coming in, and they will be coming in until the end of next week. So I'm going to be working with the town administrator, Michael Malnowski, and we'll be looking at those resumes probably next week. And then it was encouraging news to see that it appeared that we had some good resumes that came in. So in the meantime, we'll see if we can get a fill-in planner for the next meeting or two, and then hopefully we'll have somebody full-time on board with us again. So that's what I have to say about the search for a new planner. I don't know if any other planning board members have anything else to say.
No, I just for the public and, you know, all the businesses out there, we appreciate their patience while we go through this transition period. It seems like every year and a half we have this ongoing, but we do appreciate your patience while we transition.
Yes, thank you.
I just wanted to thank everybody in town for the Cane Strong golf outing that we had last weekend. The weather was finally nice. We had 70 degrees, beautiful sun. We raised the most money we've ever done, which was awesome. So now we're going to fund probably 10 more scholarships because of that. So it was all because of the volunteers that we had, businesses that sponsored hole signs, as well as raffle tickets. So I want to thank the public again for all the help.
Great job, Jim.
Thank you. So there obviously won't be any planning director notes tonight. We do have the minutes of, let's see, what do we have? April 23rd?
Yep.
Has anybody, have you had time to look at these?
April 23rd, yeah, we tabled them last time, so I'm
And May
comfortable with
14th.
them. No, those I just got when I walked in tonight, so those I
Okay.
will be asking to table.
Okay, that's fine.
But
So how about April 23rd?
Make a motion to approve as written for April 23rd's minutes.
Second that.
So you have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that was unanimous. Okay, and then you want to table the minutes for May 14th, since we just got them tonight.
Yes, please.
Okay. Do we vote on that?
No, we just
Okay, we just table it. All right, so our next meeting, our next scheduled meeting will be June 11th. We don't have anything on the agenda right now, and since we're in the transition between planners, we're going to not do that meeting, but we will have a meeting on June 25th.
So,
that will
Mr.
be
Chair, if I could jump in on that. Where we don't have a full board tonight, and we had the special permit for David Mulcahy, should we entertain on keeping our next meeting?
Okay, yeah, maybe we'll wait and see how the next
Before we cancel it?
Yeah, before we cancel. Yeah, okay, let's do that. So let's not determine what our next meeting date will be until our next hearing. We'll see how it goes.
And as of now, I don't have a commitment from Kevin that he's on his way. So
Okay.
I would refer to you to ask the applicant if they want to continue or would like to proceed with this. It's totally their decision.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Lawrence Winokur. I'm counsel for the petitioner in lieu of Mr. Serki, who's not here tonight. We would prefer a full board, and if you possibly could continue it to the next meeting date. I heard what you just said.
Okay.
But if you could schedule it for June 11, we'd be most appreciative. This thing is going on now for months. I'm sure that you're tired of looking at us, but hopefully you can all be present that night. We can conclude that night.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very sorry that the full board isn't here, but
Things happen.
yeah, and I know this has been going on for a long time. So I mean, we would like to wrap it up as much as you. But if okay, so our next meeting will be June 11th then, and so we'll schedule that.
Continue it to
Yeah, we'll continue that to the June 11th.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to continue the public hearing for David Mulcahy to June 11th at 7 o'clock.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So,
Thank you very much.
okay,
Thank you guys for your patience. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
One quick before you do. Should we
The
the McDonald's hearing? Should we reconsider and put that on the 11th?
We'll have it on the 11th. Might as well have it on the 11th. We can get it wrapped up.
Did they leave already?
Yeah, we'll have Joe reach out to him.
Okay, okay. I'll see Jill in the morning.
Yeah.
We have to make
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Well. Okay. Yeah.
When you adjourn.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So our next meeting date will be June 11th, and so we have a motion for an adjournment.
Do we have to schedule? Because we voted on having the Bowler Engineering on the 25th. So should we redo
Oh, we
that?
didn't vote on it though.
Oh, we
It
did.
was just a statement.
Just a
We just voted on closing the public hearing.
We closed the public hearing, and we were going to vote on the decision at our next meeting. Yeah. So if we change our next meeting to from the 25th to the 11th, and we'll have to see if we can get in touch with them.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. If we
I'll
can
put a
do
note
that.
in here.
Yeah. All right.
want to make sure every
Sure.
I's dotted and T's
Yes,
crossed.
sir.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. So
I'll second. Will's motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second for adjournment. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you and good night.